So now that you've had a chance to work on your network and look through LinkedIn's alumni directory, hopefully, we're going to talk a little bit about what LinkedIn is. So I'm sure many of you have heard of it. Hopefully, some of you already have LinkedIn, but it's a social networking platform specifically for professionals to be able to engage with each other, network, review alumni profiles, and message each other. It's a lot like Facebook. That's like, I feel like the platform that's closely aligned with the function of LinkedIn would probably be your Facebook. But some features of LinkedIn include creating a personal profile with all of your professional and academic history and skills, building your network by connecting with others, searching for alumni and employers, finding jobs, and current internship postings. I think a really important thing to note about LinkedIn is that it's encouraged that you reach out to people. That's the whole purpose of the platform. So I know a lot of times networking can feel really informal and awkward, and LinkedIn is a space where it's very much encouraged. In fact, you'll probably notice when you create your LinkedIn, or maybe you already have, but every time someone views your profile, you're notified. And I think the point of that function is to say that um, it's not necessarily supposed to be a secret that somebody's reviewing your experience and histories. Um, Recruiters are using LinkedIn regularly to find competitive applicants, actually. So LinkedIn is definitely a space where it's promoted that you are looking into people, looking into employers. If you have, for example, an upcoming job interview, we really want you to use LinkedIn as a tool to review that employer, see what kind of articles they're putting out, what type of content they're putting out. You can even go to certain company and employer pages to see who else works there. And so it's really a space for you to be as informed as possible when it comes to the like the application process. So when you're making your LinkedIn account, there are a couple of things to help you stand out. And really, the best thing you can do is try and get your account as complete as possible before you start networking. So you don't want to reach out to somebody and, for example, like request an informational interview when you don't really have a lot of content on your page yet. So this would definitely be step one: is updating your profile, so you're able to show up in searches and increase the chances of receiving responses to messages and connections. So I mentioned earlier that recruiters are using LinkedIn as a tool to find you, to find potential candidates. And so you want to give them content. So when they're searching for example, like if you're interested in becoming an analyst, you want to put keywords on your profile to help them find you. Similar to Instagram and hashtags, like you want those keywords in your profile so that way you're one of the top people that pops up when a recruiter is searching for entry level analyst. So step one would be to have a headshot and a cover photo behind that headshot. You don't need like a professionally taken picture. I see a lot of students use the picture they used for graduation in high school, and if you still look like that, that works. If you took pictures upon graduating from Reed, you can use that. My picture on my profile is my graduation pictures that I got paid to have professionally taken when I graduated from my master's program. So those are always a good default if you still feel like you look like that person. Otherwise, if you don't have those photos available to you, what I always recommend people do is throw on, a button down or whatever the top half is to what you would wear to an interview. And you can take a selfie in a well-lit area with a very neutral background. So you can take a selfie like in your apartment or your dorm room. And it really only has to be a picture of like your collarbone and up. You can also have a friend, like you could go outside with a friend and have them take pictures with you against a building. But just make sure that it's well lit, that it actually represents what you look like currently. And the cover photo just needs to be a picture that represents you or your interests. So when you make a LinkedIn, it'll default a cover background picture for you. Um, And really, you want to change that to something that is, again, pretty neutral. You don't want it to be too busy of a background picture. Um, my cover photo is a picture of the Portland skyline. So it, like, I guess, loosely connects to the fact that I live in Portland. But it's a very simple picture, easy on the eyes. You want to make sure to go in and change your headline. So LinkedIn will try and automatically create a headline for you based on the information you give it in the beginning. And sometimes that headline can be really funky because it's just going to be like a hodgepodge of all of your work experience in one line. So you want to go in and make sure to revise that so it's accurate and readable. Um, it really should just include your job title. If you don't have a job or you've never had a job quite yet, you can change it. I see a lot of students just do, like fourth year math student at Reed College or graduating math major at Reed College, and that's fine too. Um, this is a great place, again, to increase your searchability. And then a summary. Your summary should be a narrative about yourself. So using first person, you want to think about uh, when employers are reading this, what's in it for them and how are they going to connect with you? So it's very similar to a cover letter, but it's going to be a little bit more general and not as long. So the summary does have a maximum word count. So your summary really should only be like 1 or 2 paragraphs long, and you want to write it to the prospective employer, whoever that might be. Um, and then you want to list all of your experience, both academic, professional, any volunteer experience you have. Use first person and full sentences when you're drafting the description of the work you've done. Include keywords and phrases so that, again, you're searchable. And provide the most detail for the current position. Um, and then additionally, what's nice about the experience section is you can actually attach media. So if you're someone who's interested in graphic design, you can attach some of the designs you've created in the experience section. And I think that's a really nice thing about LinkedIn that you otherwise can't really do in a resume, right? So it gives you a lot of space to get creative with how you present yourself. All right, activity time. So if you have not, go ahead and make a LinkedIn account. If you already have one, take some time to update it. And again, just using what we've already talked about, if you've noticed that like your summary section could be better, go ahead and work on that. If you notice that you don't have a cover photo yet, go ahead and search the internet to find one. If you realize that, hey, there's some content that I could probably attach to my work experience, like I suggest doing that. In your education section, you can add Reed College and the coursework you've taken, and you can actually also add content there. So if you're somebody who's designed any, like, I don't know, for example, like databases, if you're an econ student who's done any like economic modeling and forecasting, if there's any attachable PDFs or Excel sheets that you can add just to demonstrate the type of work you're doing in the classroom, I would also encourage you to attach media there as well. If there's any volunteer organizations that aren't already on your LinkedIn, go ahead and add that too. But yeah, take some time to look through and just see where the gaps in your profile are. All right.